You're watching a segment of The Splash, Greater West Bloomfield's news magazine show.
We're joined by Craig Bryson, the Senior Manager of Communication for the Oakland County Road Commission. And thank you, as always, for being with us.
Thank you for the opportunity.
So it has been a busy season for you already, but the rain has played a major part in this construction season being delayed.
It certainly has. There have been 22 of the last 30 days it's rained, and we can't pave in rain. We can't do a lot of the other construction activities, so many of our projects have been delayed, pushed back. Our preservation resurfacing program is about 30 days behind schedule because of all this, the rain and the ramifications of the rain. So
do you think you're going to be able to make that time up? Or I know it just depends on the weather, but are you optimistic about this?
I am optimistic. I think we build in some flex time in our schedule, so we're optimistic that by the end of the season we'll be able to have caught up on all that.
Okay, so there are some big projects going on, and there are some big roundabout projects going on.
Yes, there are.
So tell me about those.
Okay, so we're building 6 roundabouts this year, which is a record for us. We've never built 6 in one year. One of those is in West Bloomfield. 3 of them are in Orion Township, and one is on Cooley Lake Road, and one's in Oakland Township at Adams and Gunn.
So the one in West Bloomfield, that is a 2-phase project, correct?
Correct. So it's a roundabout at the intersection of Maple and Middlebelt, but it's also replacing a culvert that carries the Rouge River under Maple Road just to the east of the Middlebelt intersection, which in and of itself is a major project. That culvert's about 20 feet below the road, and we're going to replace the culvert and raise the road up about 6 feet to improve sight distance on Maple Road.
So that's part of the phase. Has that already begun?
That has not yet begun. The utility relocation is taking place. So there are a lot of utilities near and around the intersection and along Maple Road that have to be moved out of the way. So AT&T, the water services, all the cable, everything like that has to be moved out of the way, and that is currently happening.
So what can motorists expect during this time?
Until then, there'll be continued lane closures with flaggers directing traffic on Maple Road east of Middlebelt. That's going on currently while the utilities are being moved. The road's open, but it's down to 1 lane on many days. When the culvert actually starts, the road will be completely closed at the culvert, so east of Maple Road. That will last until about September. In September, the roundabout will begin, and the entire Middlebelt Maple intersection itself will close. And that'll be the case through November when the roundabout is finished.
Okay, so you mentioned flaggers. I want to go back to safety for a minute, just because we hear a lot about crashes happening involving the workers, the construction workers.
Yes. And
we can't say it often enough to use caution.
Please, we every year we see workers hit, sometimes worse. On a regular basis, we see people flying around the flaggers, flying around barricades. It's a very dangerous job. Those people are out in traffic. Please keep your eye out for them. Slow down, stop when they tell you to stop. Don't go around the barricades, and watch out for those construction workers. We want to make sure they all get home to their families at the end of the day. Okay,
so let's talk about safety for the roundabouts, right? Because you said that there are actually 2 different safety aspects to driving through a roundabout. And one seems pretty simple because there's signs.
Right. So what we want people to do is choose the lane they want to go through on the roundabout before they enter the roundabout. So there are signs that tell you which lanes turn left, which lanes go straight, which lanes turn right. So look at those signs, pick your lane, and then stay in your lane in the roundabout. One of the biggest problems we have is that people change lanes within the roundabout. They realize too late that they're in the wrong lane, and then they switch lanes without looking. They sideswipe somebody else, or they cut in front of somebody else and get rear-ended. So those are the minor vehicle damage types of crashes we sometimes see in roundabouts.
But as far as roundabouts go, and it seems kind of ironic because most people think they're more dangerous.
Right.
But that's not the case.
No, they're actually far safer. Statistics not only from our roundabouts, from statewide and from nationwide are overwhelming. We see about a 75% reduction in serious injury crashes and about a 90% reduction in fatalities, which is huge. If you think about urban areas like Oakland County, the traffic fatalities occur at intersections, and they occur in 2 ways. Either somebody gets broadsided when they're making a left turn, or they get head-on collision, somebody coming through the intersection. A roundabout pretty much physically removes the ability of either of those types of crashes to take place. So we see just a huge reduction in injuries and deaths. And there's very little else that we can do that would have a 90% reduction on fatalities. So that's, from a safety point of view, they're actually huge.
And they keep traffic flowing.
They do. They improve traffic capacity of the intersection by about 30 to 50%. And that makes sense if you think about it. With a signalized intersection, at all times, you've got two directions of traffic completely stopped. In a roundabout, you've got all directions of traffic flowing freely all the time. You may have to wait a few seconds to get into the roundabout, but all directions are moving continuously in a roundabout, so you can actually move a lot more traffic through the intersection.
Which brings up speed.
Yes. We design the roundabouts so they force you to slow down when you're going in there. The geometrics of the roundabout are a relatively tight circle. Most people see that, they adjust, it's an intuitive thing. So 15 to 20 miles an hour is about ideal for going through those roundabouts. Unfortunately, some people are not paying attention. They come flying down the road and barrel right into the intersection, and again, that's where we see some of the side swipe and rear end collisions. They're going too fast, they can't make the turn, or the cars in the roundabout already are going much slower than they are, and they rear end them. So please slow down when you go into the roundabouts. They're designed to be 15 to 20 miles per hour in the circle.
And just pay attention.
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
I mean, that would probably be the biggest thing. Just
absolutely.
Pay attention and know where you're going and stick to your lane.
And be conscious of the cars around you. You know, you have to. The cars in the roundabout have the right of way, so you have to yield when you come in to the cars that are already in the roundabout, and then be conscious of those who are in the other lanes in the roundabout while you're there, and you'll be fine.
So if you're stopped waiting to enter the roundabout, the cars that are already in, they have the right of way.
Exactly, exactly.
Okay.
The cars circulating in the circle have the right of way.
Because I think some people don't understand that.
True, true. Some people think that when they pull in, the cars are in the roundabout are going to stop so they can come in, but that is not the case. It's the cars entering the roundabout that have to yield to the cars in the roundabout.
Right. Okay, so going back to Maple and Middlebelt, what can people expect as this project goes on?
Well, during the, as I said, during the culvert, the road will be closed. So the detour route for Maple Road traffic is Inkster Road down to 14 Mile, back up to Middlebelt, and while the culvert's going on, the intersection will still be open, and then vice versa if you're going the opposite direction. Once that's done in September and the roundabout begins, the detour route, when the entire intersection is closed, will be Inkster Road to 14 Mile, to Northwestern Highway, to Orchard Lake Road, and then back up to Walnut Lake if you're going back to Middlebelt Road, and the opposite in the opposite direction.
So when are you expecting the roundabout to be finished and ready, open for business?
Right, in November.
In November.
That is the plan.
So right in time for winter.
Exactly. Yep. That's right.
So really, people just need to know what's going on, pay attention. Of course, we'll have updates right here on Civic Center TV, and I'm sure we'll be expecting you back again.
Sounds good.
To tell us how it's going.
Sounds good.
But to really just have patience.
Yes, and anybody who's driven that intersection on a regular basis knows it's been a terrible, the pavement's been in terrible condition for years. We're very happy to be able to get in there. It's going to be, number one, much smoother, and number two, much better functioning intersection. So if we can just be patient and get through the construction, I think the rewards at the end of the process will be well worth the wait.
And thank you so much for being with us. I'm sure we'll be speaking to you again soon.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you. And we have been joined by Craig Bryson, the Senior Manager of Communication for the Oakland County Road Commission.
Thanks for watching a segment of The Splash. To catch the entire show or other segments, watch us on Comcast Channel 15 or AT&T Channel 99. Or look us up online at thesplash.tv and listen to us on WBLD 89.3, the all-new Lakes FM.